In World War I, millions of soldiers died just to move the front line a few hundred yards. How is this possible? In this video, we're going to be talking about trench warfare, what it is, why it happened, and why it matters. By the end of the video, you'll be able to explain how trench warfare was turned World War I into the deadliest stalemate. Trench warfare is a kind of fighting where both sides dig long, deep trenches to protect themselves from enemy fire. During World War I, especially on the Western Front between Germany and the Allies, the war basically froze into two lines of trenches stretching from the North Sea to Switzerland. Instead of big dramatic charges that pushed the enemy back miles and miles, soldiers were stuck facing each other across a narrow strip of land, and that strip was known as no man's land, the deadly space between the two trench lines. Okay, but why did they dig trenches in the first place? Why not just fight like in the earlier wars? By the early 1900s, military technology was way ahead of military tactics. Machine guns could fire a few hundred bullets a minute. Artillery could fire shells from miles away. Rifles were more accurate and faster than before. If soldiers tried to charge across open ground like the old battles, they were mowed down almost instantaneously. So both sides dug into the ground for protection. Once they did that, it became very hard for either side to attack without losing a large number of men. Trench systems were pretty complex. You should know there's three main types of trenches. Frontline trenches were close to enemies. This was where soldiers stood guard, fired their weapons, and launched attacks. Second, support trenches, a short distance between the front line, used for backup troops and supplies. And the third, reserve trench, even farther back, a place where soldiers rested and prepared. All these were connected by communication trenches, which allowed soldiers food, ammunition, and messages to move around more safely. And in between, the enemy's front line and your front line was no man's land, full of mud, craters, barbed wire, and dead bodies. And the key idea, trench systems were organized networks, not random holes. Alright, so what was it actually like to live in these trenches? Mud and water, trenches often flooded when it rained. Soldiers could stand in cold, filthy waters for hours or days. Trench foot, when feet stayed wet too long, the skin broke down, got infected, and sometimes had to be amputated. Rats and lice. Rats fed on leftover food and even dead bodies. Lice infested uniforms and caused constant itching and diseases. Rations were usually simple: bread, canned meat, tea, and often cold or stale. Constant artillery and fear made it hard to sleep. Alright, now let's recap of what we need to remember for the AP world. Definition of trench warfare is fighting from deep ditches. The main feature of World War I was Western Front. Cause of trench warfare: new weapons like machine guns and artillery made defense stronger than offense, leading to a stalemate. The structure of the frontline support and reserve trenches, all but connected by communication trenches, with no man's land in between. Life inside trenches was mud, diseases, trench foot, rats, lice, fear, and exhaustion. And the impact of trench warfare was huge casualties, psychological trauma, and changes in how wars were fought later. And if you can explain how trench warfare shows the impact of industrial technology on World War I, then you are well on your way to getting a good AP score.